Welcome to episode 1 of The Hammer, an Umpire Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Weber. I guess the first thing I should talk about is, why is this called The Hammer? Well, that's kind of my nickname as an amateur umpire. I use the hammer when I call strikes when I'm working the plate as opposed to the point. I don't say either one is right or wrong, but the hammer works for me. Anyway, I'd like to give you a little rundown of what I'm hoping to do in future episodes of this podcast. I'd like to talk about things like equipment, protective equipment, cold weather, hot weather equipment at some point. I'd like to talk about post and preseason conditioning at some point. I'd like to talk about rules and rules differences between certain amateur rules and obviously the pro rules as well. I'd like to talk about clinics. I'd like to talk about feedback and evaluations. I'd like to give you some profiles on some famous umpires from the past that maybe you should be familiar with. I definitely want to talk about handling ejections and game situations. We can talk about things like insurance and NASO and how do you protect yourself outside of the diamond. And just in general, just increasing your knowledge, literature about umpiring and officiating, and what you can do to make yourself better mentally as well as physically when you're umpiring a baseball game. As far as myself, I have a good background in umpiring. There's always plenty of people that are better than me, and probably some people that are striving to be where I'm at. So I think that's the case with nearly everybody, unless you were, Doug Harvey or something. All right. I started out umpiring in, more seriously in 2006 after I had coached high school baseball for several years. I had hurt my back and had surgery and didn't really want to get back into coaching for various reasons. So I decided, hey, I've been playing baseball for my whole life and I love the game. It's my favorite. And I used to umpire Little League games when I was in high school. And, as everybody thinks, I know the rules. I can do this. And so I signed up for the local high school association and started to work sub-varsity games for them. And I just kind of took it one step at a time. I eventually was pretty successful there and moved up to get varsity games and then some of the postseason games here in the state of Michigan where I live. And then in 2015, I was asked to do the state finals, which I was very honored to do. And I continued to do that. And around that same time, I started to umpire collegiately. And there you start at the bottom too. I started doing JUCO games, got a few, NAIA games, a couple of Division III games, more non-con kind of stuff. And I progressed there as well to get more conference games. Worked just a little minor JUCO postseason. I'm hoping to progress there. Work some D2 non-con. I've worked a little D1 fall non-con, about as low at D1 as you can get. Hoping I progress there, but it is what it is. That's always the case. You just should be happy with what you got, and keep working hard, and hopefully you'll get something else. But if you don't, then you don't, and that's just the way it goes. There's lots of good umpires out there, especially when in college baseball with all the umpires that come out of the minor leagues. They're literally professionals. So that's a difficult thing to compete with. I mean, I'm a 47-year-old high school history and English teacher who's short and, I'm not 6 feet, 185 pounds and 27 years old. So, I know my ceiling is only so high, but I keep working as hard as I can, and I'll see where I can get to before I got to come off the field. So that's a little bit about me. I hope to have some guests on this show. I of course, know a lot of umpires locally. Michigan, in particular, has many great umpires at all different levels, and I know a few of them. And I hope to do some little interviews with them and talk to them about their umpiring philosophy and their successes and failures along the way that we can all learn from, because I definitely believe that you learn a little something from every umpire. You learn from the great umpires, you learn from the not so great umpires as well, and you try to incorporate that into your game. Of course, your game's got to be, your personality, and you have to figure out how you can manage a baseball game and be the best that you can be. So those are some of the things that I'm looking at for this podcast. It's going to be an ongoing kind of thing, but hopefully it'll be enjoyable, and we'll learn a little something. I certainly can, help people along that are coming up the ladder to try to get to where I'm at, and I hope that I can kind of guide some people to maybe, reach higher than where I'm at this point in my career. I've had some people that have done that, and they moved past me, and I wish them the best. That's just the way it goes. So you can't get too worked up with all those things and all the politics of umpiring. You start getting incorporated into all those things, you're going to have a hard time, and it's not going to be a lot of fun. Those are the kind of things that make guys quit. So it's got to do what you can do. So with that, I'm looking to work my 151st game this year. I know a lot of guys work more games than that, and some guys certainly work less. I've got a little fall game over at Western Michigan that I'm going to be working this afternoon, and that should probably be the last game I work this year, since it's late October, and in Michigan that's about as far as we can go. You usually don't see too many games in November. This isn't Florida or Texas or something. So hopefully that will be a good experience, and then I'll be in postseason mode, and I do some assigning as well for summer baseball and some for our local high school association. So I'm definitely going to be getting more into that during the off season, and I will talk about that as well during future podcasts about what it's like to be an assigner and how you should maybe handle your assigner if you're new to all of this. I would definitely appreciate any feedback you could give me. My information is listed on the Anchor podcast site, where you can leave a 60-second or less voicemail message. I definitely would like any feedback you can give me, and I might use those on future episodes. You can email me at spinalfusion06@yahoo.com, or you can tweet me at Kevin R. Weber. And in both of those, the information for those are listed on my podcast site. So check that out, and I'll look to talk to you next time.